Such details.
Detailed, yeah. They could hear it, they just couldn't see it. I think there's some left unless Callie finished it. There's one serving left and I was done.
Hi, my name is Adam Schneider, and I'm with Oakwood Lending. You can reach us at oakwoodlending.com. And I've been with TREIA since 2012. I'm located in Raleigh, and I've bought over 150 houses, so I've got plenty of experience to help you if you need a second set of eyes. When we do our loans, we don't require a loan application fee. We rarely require an appraisal. We don't charge draw fees on it. We have a quick turnaround time, usually responding within 24 hours. We're okay to do small loans. So if you have any questions or comments, or just want to send a loan application, we do loans in North Carolina. We are private hard money lenders. Again, my name is Adam Schneider with Oakwood Lending. Hi. Hello, TREIA family. My name is James Clark Jr. I became a TREIA member 3 months ago. I joined TREIA to build relationships with like-minded individuals, learn about real estate investing, and become a successful and savvy real estate investor. I started an LLC with my father in 2012. Shortly after, my grandfather deeded us his house, and we bought a fourplex and renovated that. I specifically am ready to scale in buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat strategy known as BRRRR in multifamily properties. I've been an air traffic controller for 15 years, 5 of which I spent in California, enjoying San Francisco 49er games and some of the most beautiful sunsets you'll ever see. My favorite quote is "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing" by Warren Buffett. And my favorite books are Cash Flow Quadrant and Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm looking for a joint venture with a savvy and experienced investor. BRRRR strategies with multifamily, if that's possible. I think that's the best way to learn on the job training. It's what I've done most of my career, and I know I can learn and grow from that. The things I like most about TREIA are the consistency with education, with opportunity, and with networking. I've met so many great people. I've had so much fun learning about real estate investing in the videos, and the opportunities are balanced if you check the Facebook TREIA page out with wholesale or any kind of investing strategies that you're looking for. If you would like my contact information, again, I'm James Clark Jr. You can reach me at 910-354-5811. Again, 910-354-5811. Or my email address, invest@jnjcarolina.com. Again, that's invest@jnjcarolina.com. Thank you, and I hope each of you have a great day.
This morning is Ryan Groff with New Western Acquisitions. I am the broker in charge here in Raleigh, and we've done a lot of business with a lot of you guys, and thank you all for the business, and look forward to doing a lot more. I'm just here today to, hope everyone's safe out there, and hope everyone's staying healthy, and wishing everyone the best through these tough times. But to kind of share you a little bit about what we do here at New Western. We consider ourselves a full-service brokerage, investment brokerage that specializes in helping investors from A to Z in banking. Now, what we mean by that is our primary product that we offer is our properties. We get about 15 off-market direct-to-seller deals each month here in the Triangle area. And when I say the Triangle area, I mean primarily in Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Fuquay, those areas, not necessarily the rural outskirt areas. Besides that, we also have in-house financing. If you were looking to purchase a property, we could get you pre-approved and fully approved that day for a property with very competitive rates nationally. We also have heavily vetted contractors in the area, as far as general contractors all the way down to subcontractors for AC, electrician, etc. We also are all licensed here. As I mentioned, I'm the broker in charge. Everyone is licensed. And because of that, we're able to refer you out to the best listing agents in each area, or the cheapest, or flat fee listing, or if you need a good property manager, we know a lot of good property managers in the area. So we're really looking to, make some more connections with y'all, help some more of y'all with your investing goals. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about us. We've been around since 808, where we started in Dallas, Texas. Since then, we've expanded to about 40 offices nationwide. We've done over 18,000 investment properties, and for a little bit over 2.3 trillion in revenue. So I would look forward to doing business with y'all. Look forward to making more connections. And please feel free to contact us anytime, and an agent will be more than happy to speak with you. We are continuing to do deals right now, and there's continued opportunities out there. So I look forward to meeting more of y'all and doing more business. Thanks.
All yours, Chris. Can't hear you. Chris,
Now.
there we go. Yep.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the TREIA New Investors Meeting. Tonight, our topic is going to be the many benefits that you can get from TREIA membership, capitalizing on building the free website that comes with your TREIA membership. We will, while we're doing announcements, I'd like to invite you to share any good news that you have with us, possibly a need that you've fulfilled or a deal that you've done, or even if you have some kind of a personal something that you're celebrating. And if you'd like to do that, or if you just want to introduce yourself, you can drop your name in the chat, and after the announcements, we will unmute you and do a little bit of networking. Our board members that are on the call tonight are Kathy Russell, Jackie Richards, Leslie Ortiz, and I'm not sure if Chuck Juergens is here or not. I heard earlier that he was driving, so I'm not sure if he's going to make it.
Chuck may be on the road at the moment, but
yeah,
he'll get here as soon as he can.
Yeah, so he may pop in a little bit later. So just kind of want to remind everybody that even though we're soldiering on in the Zoom format, and I think we've made some tremendous strides in making the Zoom platform work a lot more smoothly for all of us. We really are looking forward to the time when we can get back together and meet in place and do deals, shake hands, meet new people. gosh, and maybe we'll even get to have a buffet again sometime. But in the absence of that, right now you can go to the Facebook networking page, Triangle Real Estate Investors Association Networking Group. So there's a lot of networking, a lot of deals going on over there in the Facebook group. Again, the name of that is the Triangle Real Estate Investors Association Networking Group. Also, as you saw in some of the intro, various members have done member spotlight videos. If you're a new member or an old member and you'd like to do a member spotlight video, you can email TREIAprojects@gmail.com, or you can just drop a note into the chat box. So that's another way that you can get involved. Excuse me. You see, I'm kind of skimming through announcements, so just bear with me for a minute. A new project that was done under the new structure, a hands-on rehab. The class bought a house, fixed it up, and sold it. Closing is scheduled for August 13th, so tomorrow, I guess, huh? Cool. The next class will be forming shortly, so if you're interested, drop your name in the chat, or again, email TREIAprojects@gmail.com. A new mentorship program is being started. So if you'd like to be a mentor, board members, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you'd like to be a member or you're looking for a member, again, drop a note in the chat or send an email to TREIAprojects@gmail.com. And I think that's all I have as far as the announcements. Leslie is going to talk to us about subgroup meetings that
Okay.
are going on this week. So Leslie, go ahead.
All righty. Well, if you were with us last night, and a lot of you were, yeah, heard the whole spiel. But for those of you who weren't on the really interesting TREIA North meeting last night, it was absolutely amazing. We had a lot of really, really good information come at us from our own Kathy Russell. But just to let you all know, in case you haven't checked the calendar, which you should be doing all the time, as tomorrow our meeting is the Fayetteville meeting, which is of course really easy to attend the Fayetteville meeting without actually having to go to Fayetteville. And that's with Cheryl Gleason, who's absolutely wonderful. She's got a lot of knowledge, and she's going to go over perfecting your elevator pitch. This is something you really need to have available to you when you're talking to buyers or sellers to create rapport, to get the deal done. So your elevator pitch is very important, and there's certain ways of going about it that you really want to know, just so that you're not killing the deal with things you're saying. And Cheryl will be going over that with you tomorrow night. Friday is one of our two midday meetings, the experienced meeting with Melanie, and it starts at 12:30, and we ask that you be an experienced member. And she's bringing in a speaker who actually has done a lot of business in California. Her name is Tamara Aragon, and she's just got lots of tips and tricks about rehabbing. She's named herself the Flipping Queen. So that should be an interesting meeting, just to see if there's anything, the differences between here in California, and if there's anything out there that we can apply here. So that'll be good. Next Tuesday is our monthly general meeting, which is always the third Tuesday of the month. And we have got a very interesting speaker coming on the meeting next Tuesday. His name is Abby Golhar. And Abby is a, I'd say software whiz. He's an entrepreneur. He's a national speaker. He's been on TV, and he assists people in scaling businesses with software, with AI. There's a lot of different ways, but he's very technical. And if that's something that that should interest you because it is a means to an end. You want to make sure that you come on Tuesday night and listen to Abby about his what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, people. He's got systems in place that can help you scale very, very quickly your business. And then for the millennial meeting next Thursday, he's also going to be coming back to help out our own Peter Chang, who's going to be speaking regarding the requirements of hard money lending, what they're looking for now in COVID, how the requirements have changed. And Abby is going to come on and help Peter with how you can accurately estimate repairs and rehabs, and how that is very important to hard money lenders. They need to know pretty accurately if they're going to be lending to you, how much you figure to be spending on repairs. So that is going to be like a 1-2 punch there with Peter and Abby coming back again. And he's going to provide some free information and a way to estimate rehab repairs. So that's it for the next 2 weeks, and the following week, well, you're just going to have to check the calendar. Back to you, Chris.
Okay. Jackie's going to welcome our new members in just a second, but I just wanted to make one point that occurred to me, and it's occurred to me a couple of times in these Zoom meetings, and it relates to networking. I know a lot of times people come to these meetings and they're like, oh, I can go to a Zoom meeting, so I don't have to get dressed up, and which is all great, I mean, I might not have anything on, below this shirt and you wouldn't know it. But kind of importantly, if you're willing to show up either with a picture in your name box or actually be live, with your face, that's going to really go a long way towards helping us when we get back to having live meetings. I know for me, I'm kind of an extrovert, but if you're not an extrovert, well, real estate investing will make you into an extrovert, but besides that, if you go to enough in-person meetings and people see your face, eventually people are going to approach you. So I think that's a very important aspect of networking. So I would just encourage everyone, if you can. I know a lot of times people get home from work and they're like, oh, I just want to let down. I don't want to be seen. But I still think that can be very important. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Jackie.
Okay, thanks, Chris. I'm going to be really quick. I just wanted to take a moment and welcome our new members that have joined this month that happen to be on the call tonight. And so welcome. And please forgive me if I get the names, if I don't pronounce them correctly. And send me a chat and tell me how to pronounce it correctly in the future. But Kiana Eaglin, so welcome. I'm super excited because Kiana was on last night's call as well. So way to go. And tonight I can actually see you, which is wonderful. So thank you for showing your beautiful face and beginning to network with all of your TREIA members. The same thing with Carol Small. Carol was on last night. She just joined this month, and it is fantastic to see you again tonight. And Alex Lean, welcome. Alex joined this month and is on the call tonight. If I missed anybody, if you are new, oh, Kalinda, thank you for showing your face. Hi. Just welcome aboard, guys. And the best thing you can do is take advantage of this knowledge. So it's awesome. Keep it up. I know a lot of information comes your way. Education is key, and we're here to help. But it's awesome to see you. Welcome aboard. And Chris, back to you.
Okay. So one of the main benefits of your TREIA membership is that you get a free website as part of your membership, and you get a premium. You can also get a premium website as part of your membership. So in order to teach us how to do that, Mike Jacka is here tonight. He's the founder of the Minnesota REIA and the developer of our website operating system, Pros. And I see here that he rides his motorcycle everywhere he goes, which in Minnesota, I guess this time of year, that's probably pretty good. but I had roommates from Minnesota, and in the wintertime, I can't imagine that riding your motorcycle is very much fun. Or it might be more fun and not very efficient. But anyway, but Mike is here. He's going to instruct us about how to set up your website in TREIA. So Mike, it's all yours.
Actually, we have a.
Whoops, missed
All right.
something. What did I miss?
All right. So I have before Mike goes on, who's going to give you the in-depth details, we're going to do a short little tutorial on our website. Just
okay, sorry about that.
It's all right. It's okay. So can you guys see my screen here? I'm just going to take 5 minutes, and then Mike's going to do the in-depth, but we're just going to go over our website, which Mike is the developer who puts these together, but every website is designed a little differently. So I'm just going to go over the feature of ours. And I would also like to say that what Chris just said about being seen is so important, and it's such a good point. In the absence of networking, really, getting to know people means getting to know your face. I think that was such a great point. I wish I had a thought to say it. And also, as we go through here, if you guys, while you follow along both what I talk about and what Mike talks about, if you have any suggestions for the website, please put them in the chat. If there's something that applies to our local website, we won't reply to you about it, so don't feel bad. We just know that your suggestion is taken. If it's something for the operating system overall, then we'll bring that up with Mike, so feel free to do that. So what I'm going to go over assumes that you have a password and know how to get into this site. If you do not, Mike's going to go over that for you. So just don't worry about it right now. You already know how to get on the site and you have your password. And this is what you see is our homepage. It just has some information, all of our social media buttons here. One of these Facebooks is our business page, and this one here is our networking group. So conveniently, you can click those. You can follow us here and here. This is the very first question I have for Mike tonight. This meetup button is not working. The link is correct though. If you click on the link, it takes you to our meetup page, but when you put it in here, it goes somewhere wrong. So that's the first thing on your list, Mike. As you can see, we have our general meeting schedule for our main meeting. Of course, that's when we are meeting because we can't have our light savory dinner anymore. And then here, as you go down, you see the most recent upcoming events, the most imminent ones, and there at the bottom is all the property listings that you can look through that other members have put up. Again, at the bottom has all of our social media, and this is an important link, but I was checking all this out today before I told it to you, and this link is to register for our Think Realty benefits, which is a really great discount program. Unfortunately, that link is not working now either, and I tried to get it fixed before this meeting tonight, but I couldn't get the information I need to fix it. But I will get that fixed, and please remember to register this for this, because it has a lot of great discounts at places that you need as a real estate investor. Up here, you can sign up to join for our newsletter or more social media, but those are no different than the ones on the bottom. And here it gives you more back to our property listing. So that's your homepage. I'm going to skip over join now because you're already here tonight, so you are already a member. That takes us to our vendor partners button, and you can see here we are actually in the process of revamping this website, so not everything's quite working yet, but all the vendors are up now. You can see what they do, you can see their contact, and if they have a website, if you click on their logo, it will take you to their website. So, and there's a listing of them here on the left. And we're always getting new vendors, so always check these guys out if you need services and patronize your fellow members. Here is the property list, which we've really just looked at, but this is just a different way to search the whole thing. You can search it by single family, multifamily, or just see all of them. Here's a calendar of events that's more complete, that goes by an actual calendar. And the important thing to note about this is that if you want to view a video of a past meeting, almost all of our meetings have videos now. There are a few that won't. Some speakers don't allow us to video, but the way you get to that is you click on that calendar. Even though, as you saw, what I just clicked on, that meeting is X'd out because it's already over, you can still click on it, And then you just scroll down here, and great, I picked one that didn't have a video. Let's see. Let's try this one, The Wire. If you just click on whatever meeting you want to see and scroll down here, you'll see there's the video, and all you have to do is click it, and you can watch the video of any meeting that you choose as long as there's a video available. Then this is vendor information, and this, instead of being a listing of vendors, this tells you how you can join to be a vendor. So if you know anyone who has a roofing company or any kind of service that might be of interest and they'd like to join as a vendor member, they can go here and get all the information. This is membership information. It tells you how to join. This button tells you your membership benefits. Again, we have the faulty, I think, realty button there, but it does explain those benefits for you. You can join the email list, terms and conditions. Yeah, that's all the boring legalese. Gives a disclaimer, basically telling you, you know, you are responsible for doing your own due diligence, and we aren't going to babysit you. Some new pages that we're adding, there's nothing on these pages yet, but volunteer opportunities. We're going to list here when we're looking for people to help with things, so feel free to check that one, as well as suggestions. Here we have, we are looking for you to give us your suggestions for, you know, anything that you would like to see as far as a speaker or a class or anything like that. I don't know why that link is not working right, and it was earlier today, but these pages are in development right now. But any suggestions you have, we would like you to give them to us. Now, some people on this call are gonna be a little shocked when I show you our next page, because I've been working on this for 3 or 4 months now, and I asked all of our board members to send a photo and a bio, and I told them, as well as our subgroup leaders, and I threatened them if they didn't send it, I would find one, and they would be stuck with the one I found. So as you can see, nobody sent me their bio yet, but when this is finished, you'll be able to learn a little about all your board members. All these photos were found on the internet. Now look, if I was that person, I'd be showing that picture all over, man. She's photogenic. Jackie, she's gonna kill me because I think she's very sparse with her photos on the internet, and this is all I could find. Sorry, Jack. You're, I mean, you know, she wasn't a blonde back then. So anyway, that's all your board members, and that'll be filled out with more information. Same thing for your subgroup leaders. It's gonna have a description of their subgroup, the subgroup leader, when it meets, and, you know, what time. So there we have all your subgroup leaders. There you go, Chris. You're lucky you had a good picture online.
I know.
So you have all that if you're ever interested in that. And then there's other resources. We have frequently asked questions that you can look at here. Just basic stuff that Mike's probably going to go over, so I'm not going to go into it. Just know that it's there. We have blog articles that you can read. Interesting stuff there. And so same, if you want to write a blog article, put that on our suggestion page, we would welcome that if you have a particular expertise. Here's courses that we have for sale. There's nothing on there now, but from time to time there are home study courses for sale. Again, just like the blog articles, these are more real estate articles. Here's a handy dandy glossary of real estate terms if you are particularly good for a new investor. Some audio archives of some past meetings. This is a cool one, financial calculators. It tells you maximum allowable offer and a mortgage calculator. So there's some really great stuff here. And finally, on my account, you can look at your dashboard, which you see here, and it tells you everything about you. And if you want to change anything, you just click on this green edit button, and you can change, you know, if you get a new email or if you move or get a new phone number. You can also see what meetings you've attended and anything else like that. And the rest of the things on here, Mike is going to go over, so I'm going to leave it at that. That's the features of our local site. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mike Jacka, who developed our operating system, which is called PROS, and he is the real guru here, and he is going to give you all the in-depth information you need to know. So go right ahead, Mike.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kathy. I am going to, let's see, switch screens here so we can put it on mine. I think this is the right one here. Okay, you see my screen now?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, excellent. And Kathy, I did fix one of your issues with your link. So you just had you're redirected to a secure link, and they want it redirected to a non-secure link. So I updated that for you. The meetup one for me worked. I don't know what the issue was.
Well, weird. Okay, cool. Thanks, Mike.
So maybe it's something on your end that you gotta look at on your side, but yeah, those links worked for me. So I think you're good to go there.
Awesome. That was awful quick. See, if you have suggestions, he gets things done.
Well, and then the Think Realty too, when they join, they should have also gotten an email that gets fired off to Think Realty. So hopefully they got that. If they see the email come through, that's what it's for. It's all part of that whole program there for you guys. So like Kathy said, I wanted to give you a quick 2-minute background on myself and where the pros system came from, or the website. I've been a real estate investor / real estate agent / investor / broker / property manager / rehabber / wholesaler, all that stuff for going on 30 years now. And I've been running MNREIA. I started MNREIA in 2002, just a small networking group. We've now grown to the largest REIA in the Midwest and one of the top premier REIAs in the country, with not quite as big as you guys are at the moment, but we're a little over 1,000 members ourselves. But we're right there fighting neck and neck with you guys, always keeping pace with you guys. So we're trying to get to that next level. Like you guys always go a level ahead of us, and then start to catch up. Then you jump ahead of us, and we catch back up. So we're always in that little race thing with TREIA. It's been an ongoing thing, partly because of our relationship with Chuck. Been working with Chuck and Patrick, and I just recently started working with Kathy on this stuff. But yeah, when I started this, there was all these different things involved in running a REIA and running an association. And at the time, we were just struggling along, making everything work. And then after 2008, I realized that there was a need for automating as much as we possibly could with the REIA, both for ourselves as the people running the REIA, and for the members themselves too, because everything was just so clunky back then. And after 2008, the market crashed and people started getting out of the market. I said, okay, I got to figure out something to make this work, because the most important thing for me was the REIA. And not because I was running the REIA, but just to give you guys a little bit of background there. When the market crashed, a lot of people lost their houses. And I mean, I shut down a couple of my other businesses, the real estate brokerage, property management, all those other businesses, because they were so labor intensive and the markets just weren't working very well. And I almost shut down MNREIA at the time. But I kept going to the meetings. We kept having our normal meetings, even though they weren't as big as they were, but I kept going to the meetings. And going to the meetings and networking with other investors is really what got me through that hard times with the market crashing and losing everything, and everything just changing overnight. It literally, networking with everyone else, it became my support group. It was going to the REIA meetings. So I figured, okay, there's got to be a way to make this work. So I sat down. I had some computer programming background, and I'm also a systems guy. And I took all my other businesses and I built systems. I just wasn't a programmer, but I had some basic programming background from school. So I went back, relearned how to do programming, and started making MNREIA work for myself. And a couple of years later, after developing the system a little bit, a couple of the national speakers came through and said, "Hey, Mike, what you're doing here, you need to make this available for the other REIAs." And I'm like, well, I don't know that anybody would really want it. So I went and started asking a couple of REIAs, and sure enough, TREIA was the first ones that said, yes, we need a system like this. They saw the value in it. So you guys were one of our first clients. You've been around for a long time with us. And I appreciate the relationship with you guys and the support in the beginning days. Now we're running the websites for over 70 REIAs around the country, and we're still growing, even amidst COVID. And that's one thing I've noticed. I'm talking to some other people around the country, and they're like, how are you guys surviving? Yet we've got over 70 REIAs that are all surviving, because the automation of all the stuff makes it so much easier for the administrators to do their jobs, and it makes it more engaging and more useful for the members because there's more content. We're able to keep the members educated, trained, and with these Zoom meetings, keep them networking. Minimal capacity. It's not the same as live, but it's a huge benefit. And then because of our network, and we do monthly training with the admins, I think it's really helped to keep all the REIAs that are within our network, all of us, one, going and motivated and keeping us on the cutting edge of what's going on out there. So you guys are in the best place you could possibly be by being a member of TREIA. So a couple of things that Anthony pointed out, and I think Chris was talking about earlier, is it does require you to be logged into the website. So the first thing I wanted to show you guys is if you've never gotten logged in, how to do that. So I'm actually going to sign myself out so that we can go through that process. And it's really easy. Just got to go to the sign in. And if you don't know your username and password, it's going to be your email address, that's for sure. But if you don't know your password, or if you've never logged in yet and you don't have that email, because when you first got signed up, when you first joined, or I shouldn't say joined, become a member, when you first got set up with TREIA, you would have gotten an email from their system saying, hey, here's your temporary password. Well, there's a link down below that's to reset it. And just if you forgot your password, click that, and then just put in your email address and hit send password reset. So the system will send you an email to your email address to reset your password. If for whatever reason the email address that you put in there is invalid, it will let you know that, and then you will have to get a hold of somebody at TREIA to update because we have it in there. Many times people will have multiple accounts, and that's one thing we found is very common. And I do this, I'm guilty of myself. I mean, I use about 5 different email addresses for different things. And sometimes I forget which email address I'm using for which business or for which reason. So sometimes you'll have 2 or 3 email addresses within the TREIA system. And you may be an active member and you log in using that account, but your membership is tied to a different one. So there again, you'll have to get a hold of somebody at TREIA to help you get that all straightened out. It's really easy. We could just change the email address that the membership is attached to, and we can just merge those accounts and get that all cleaned up if that's the case. But bottom line is you got to get logged in. And so once you're logged in, then the system actually will recognize everything for you. Now, see, it just made me reset my password. Okay. So now it just sent that in even though I got logged in because I was doing that same thing for you. So anyways, I'm logged in now and I'm on the dashboard. So this is where you're going to manage all your information. First thing I would do, like Chris was talking earlier about having the video on these Zoom meetings for the networking. It's also really important that you upload a picture of yourself. And here, as I'm saying that, I don't have one here, but if I show you my account for my REIA, MinREIA, I have a picture of myself. And you can see it. So I got a picture there for myself. So I would recommend uploading a picture of yourself because it really does help with the admins too. So when you call into the office to talk to somebody at TREIA, one of the board members or whatever, so if they're helping you, it really helps to put a face to the name and the voice so that when we do meet at the real live events again, we can figure out remember who everybody is. So just go ahead and upload a picture. It's going to help out a lot for you. Then down below is where all your information, so your profile information, and this is where you can change your email address, change your password. You can manage all that from here. So if you want to change the email address to a different one, you don't have to reset the password if you're changing an email address. The system is okay with that. But just put in your info. If you want to put a little bio about yourself, and then a little bit more details, like are you a first-time investor? What type of an investor are you? So you just come down and hit edit, and then you'll be able to come in here and say, you know what, I'm a rehabber, and maybe you also are a hard money lender. Where's my hard money? Your hard money lender, and maybe you work in the IT industry, just to give other people an idea. Or maybe you're a contractor, and maybe you do. Well, I'm doing concrete right now, so I'm getting a concrete bid. And then whatever it is you're going to be doing, just a little bit of information about yourself. It's for you and for the admins, just get an idea of who everyone is. And if you want to get off of like an email address, or getting the email notifications or the property leads or demo, we do monthly demo emails. You can manage all that right here if you want to do that. And then your website. This is one of the biggest features for the members is when you become a member of the TREIA, you get a free website. It's for your real estate business, and this is a huge, huge benefit. And most people don't understand the value of it right off the bat, but I'm going to share a couple things with you that is going to really pound this home and why it's so important. And so come here, get to the manage my website, and right now mine's activated, so it just says edit. But what you'll see is you'll only see this upper section, and then you'll see a button that says activate free website. If you don't see that button that says activate free website, or if you click on it, it'll give you a notification that you can't. That's because you're logged into an account right now that is not an active member account. So you will have to make sure you're logged in with your active member account, but then just activate that free website. And there's a few things you can change, like the color, the style of it. There's an images here, so some basic stuff. If you're a real estate agent, though, you will want to put in the real estate information. So what the system will want to do is it's going to need to know, are you a realtor, yes or no? And then what's your real estate brokerage and what states are you licensed in? So that it'll build that information on your personal website so you're compliant with your state's guidelines, with your board of realtors and with your commerce department or your state's, whatever your state guidelines are. Our system builds the default things that you need for all the sites. Cancel that out on mine. Okay, so it's pretty easy to get that up and running. Once you do now, you'll be able to post properties for sale. So your site is completely built for you. There's nothing you need to do. This is what it looks like, other than the color you're going to choose for the design and the theme. All right, so you can list properties for sale, which I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. There's a seller's form and there's a buyer's form. So as you're doing your marketing for buyers and sellers, they'll be able to come here and post, put their information in, and then you'll get the email notification, and you also manage that right through the TREIA site. There's also a contact us page, and that's so that people can, if they want to email you. We do not publish your email address on the website anywhere, period. And it's never happened, and it never will. We do not put it out there, so you don't have to worry about that. If you could do that yourself, if you had a premium site, you would be able to put that on your site, but I do not recommend that. But our system does not allow that, so therefore we have a contact us form. Now, if somebody submits their information through the form and then emails, the system converts it into an email and sends it to you. So it doesn't start in the database or anything like that. It literally just sends an email to you from our system. But if you hit reply to that email and you reply to that, now it's going to whoever sent that information to you. That's how they would get your email addresses, only if you reply to that email address. So you don't have to worry about somebody using this system. And then it's also designed so that, in case somebody's trying to spam people and send, sit there and send a ton of people messages, it's going to cut them off, after a minute if they send too many. So we do have that. And then we got the recaptcha on here. So it tries to avoid all that spammy stuff that you see that people get on a lot of the other sites out there. There's also this foreclosure report. And now this is it's called a squeeze page. So this foreclosure report right now is a generic report on what a foreclosure is. So if you're marketing out there, you can actually use this on Facebook and post this to your Facebook pages and say, hey, go get this free report on the foreclosures. So it talks about what a foreclosure is, how it affects a homeowner, like if they went through a foreclosure process, how it's going to affect them, their credit wise, how long it's going to take them to be able to get a new loan. So what it's doing is it's talking about foreclosure in a generic sense. It's not talking about specifics about your state's timelines or anything like that. It's just generic. But then it's also talking about how, as investors, how we can help them in that situation by giving them a couple options where we can buy their property, maybe do a subject to, a couple of things like that. So it's all designed and encouraged to help to get them to want to reach back out to us and say, hey, yes, please buy my house from me, subject to. So I would recommend, once you got your free website activated, come in here and do this yourself. Just put in your name and email address in here so that you get access to the reports and you can see what's going on, what the end consumer is going to see, what the sellers are going to see. And then you'll get the email notification yourself so you can say, oh yeah, this is really cool. I get the email notifications and all that. So once you've got those notifications, the system's going to send you back to TREIA, and you'll be able to do everything from my account. And from here, you'll be able to go into my website, and then you got the buyer leads, seller leads, and the special report leads. So if there's any leads that you had in here, and now obviously I don't have any here because we're at TREIA, but I can go to my personal site on TREIA, and I can just give you an idea what it's going to look like. So here's some of these are from my sellers, and then these other properties are ones that I put in myself individually to do my own analysis and run my property leads, which I'll show you in a few minutes on the more advanced features on that. Okay, so let's go back, see how the buyer's forms, all that. And then also back in my dashboard, you'll have your personal account details, your membership status. You can say, am I an active member? Yes or no. When does my membership expire? How long have I been a member since? You can, if you got a reoccurring transaction with TREIA, you'll be able to come in here and update your card information. And we do not store your credit cards. Our credit card processing center, we have an encrypted gateway through to them. All the information is sent to them and stored there. We do not actually store anything. So even if you were to call up one of the board members or admins from TREIA and say, hey, what card am I using? All we can tell you is the last 4 digits. We don't know anything else. But once it's in the system, we'll be able to use that, because then we get a token, or what technical term, but it's a token from the merchant account, where we can then use that for processing transactions for you. Like if you wanted to call up and say, I want to register for an event and it was a paid event, then we can do that if it's already stored. Then your order history for anything you've spent with them, as well as your events. So you can come in here and say, okay, these are the events that I pre-registered for and the ones that I actually attended. Now I get pre-registered for a lot of your events because I'm doing a lot of admin work for you guys. I do attend a bunch of your events. I'm also doing a lot of admin work for you guys, so I'm at a lot of yours. So this is really cool that you can manage everything from your account here. Anything you need to change, it's all right here. Now, when you go to it, the other thing that's important about being pre-registered and getting logged in is when you come in to go pre-register for an event, like say, for example, today's event, the system is then going to recognize that are you registered or not. So if you're not registered, it'll have the registration button right here. And then if it's a paid event or whatever, it's going to be, it'll build the registration based on the type of an event, the cost of the event. If it's a free event, it's free for members only. Like this one here is a members only type of an event. Nobody else would even be able to get access to this event unless they were registered. And then also, especially with all these Zoom meetings, so we don't publish the Zoom links out there, but once you're registered, the system will then display that rather than the registration button. So if you say you can't find the email reminder with the link, so maybe you missed the email reminder, or the email reminder got set in your spam box, or for whatever reason you don't have access to it and you can't find that email, you can always come back to the TREIA site, log in, go to that event, and as long as you're logged in, the system will recognize that and it'll display the pertinent information to either access the live event, or when we get back, I mean the Zoom meeting, or when we get back to actual live events, it'll display the information and let you know that you're pre-registered or not. So if you see a button that says register, that means you're not pre-registered. Otherwise, it'll display the information saying you are registered. It'll say when you got registered for the event, the date that you already pre-registered for it. And then you can also click on the calendar reminders. So you get pre-registered, and then you just come back in here and like Outlook or Google or Yahoo, whichever one you use, just click on those. And I recommend, if you're here, I would come in here and share the event. I mean, if you're coming to the meetings, I would help TREIA by letting other people know that, hey, this is valuable information and you guys should come and join us. So start sharing this stuff and tweeting it out or whatever it is you guys are doing. That all helps everybody. Let me get out of here, cancel. Oh. Okay, so there's that. The events, those are the big things I wanted to cover there. And then, the property leads. So once you've got a property once you got your website activated, you'll be able to go and post properties. So manage my website and then my properties, or from my dashboard, there's a couple different places. There's my properties here, or if you come down to manage my website, there's also a link to go to my property leads. So from the property leads, and now here I don't have anything listed, but it's easy to add them. Just click on add a new property, and then it's basically some drop-down boxes and some some basic information, and then you got to come up with a description, obviously. And then once you've done that, then once you save that, then you'll get some more tabs on top that you'll be able to manage your properties. So let me go into mine from TREIA and show you. So I'll just pull up a property, and now I'll be able to edit this. All right, now I'm able to upload photos, and then there's an administrative tab. And here, if like say if you sold the property, you'll want to come in here and update this. One, it helps keep the system accurate. But the other thing you'll notice is that when you post a property, and this is one thing we built the system intentionally, when you post a property for sale, it's got a 90-day life cycle, right? So it will expire. What we mean by expire, it's going to come off the website. It doesn't mean it's going to say it's no longer for sale. It will literally disappear from the internet world. It will not be on your site. It will not be on TREIA site. It will not be on Real Estate Promo site. It's just gone. The reason we did that is out of frustration from going to all these other sites, and you find a property that says for sale and it's got this awesome price, and you run your numbers on it. You're like, yeah, I really want to get a hold of that seller, and you're frantically trying to get a hold of the seller before anybody else finds them. You get a hold of the seller, and you find out, yeah, that price and that property sold 2 years ago. Well, no wonder why the price sounds so good now. So what we did is when you post the properties for sale, it's going to 90 days, it's going to come off the internet. You will 30 days prior to that get a notification from the system that, or when you log in to, and you go to my dashboard, when you're logged into my dashboard, it's also going to notify you if you have properties that are set to expire. And you just come in here and just click on extend publish date. So you can extend the publish date forever, right? But you can only do it one time every 30 days. So it will not let me just sit here and hit extend publish date indefinitely. But what it will do is tell me that I can come back in and try again after. So now I'm extending my publish date now, but it's going to tell me after October, now I can come back in and extend it another 90 days after that time frame. So you'll want to do that and keep those properties available for an extended period of time. So just remember that. Come back in here and also update this, because that's going to help on the front end of the website. And then also, if you're going to have an open house, this is huge. There's a huge, huge benefit to do this, to schedule the open house. And the reason being is if you go on the, and I think we might have a couple on your TREIA site. So let's go back in here, property list. Okay, so those must be older ones. It'll have, if it's a newer one, it'll say that. But you see how like these are here are not available or pending or they're sold? That just helps everyone know what's going on. But the system every single day, what it's going to do is it's going to say, and so I don't know, probably within about an hour or so your time, it'll check and say, are there any new property leads from any of the members? And then it'll send out an email to everybody in the database. And I was just looking at your guys's from last night. I think this is yours. So this is your guys's email from last night, and the open house. So remember I said it's important. So the system will then say, okay, if anything that's got an open house scheduled within this week, it will send that out. It'll add them to the email notification. So even though like those two properties are not new leads this week, those investors are holding open houses. One's holding them on Friday from 2 to 2:30, and the other one is holding it. So it's probably the same person. They're just probably or the same company or same investors, but they're probably holding one on Friday and then one on Saturday, right? So, and then it'll be a link right to those items. And then it also like, here's today's new listings. So it looks like you had 1, 2, 3, 4 new listings today. So this gets emailed out to everybody in the TREIA database every single day that there's new listings, and then it includes your open houses. So it's hugely important to put the open houses in there so that the system will send them out in your emails. You would not believe how many times I've seen members where they don't use that function, and then they complain that nobody shows up to their open houses. And the ones that do use that function sell those properties usually right away, so long as they've got them priced correctly. In fact, one of our members here just sold one on Saturday, put it as the open house. I even went out and looked at the property because the numbers sounded good. I gave him a full price offer, and I was not the winning bidder. Somebody else bid me because he had a price right. I mean, he had a price at Mayo, and I put in my offer at Mayo with him. Somebody came in and gave him a higher than Mayo offer. So those are the types of things we want. So this is a huge, huge feature for you guys. So when you post your property, it's going to show up on your personal site. It's going to show up on TREIA's website. It's also going to show up on Real Estate Promo, which is our national database. And so all the property leads from all the members of all the REIAs all flow through to Real Estate Promo, which between your personal and TREIA and on Real Estate Promo, that increases the likelihood that if you have a property for sale, that if somebody types in that they're looking for say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Melbourne, Florida, that if this person was brand spanking new and they just posted on their website, Google doesn't know that their website exists. So there's no way it could even show up in the search engines. But because of TREIA or this one here, whichever REIA they're a member of, their REIA has been around for a while, and Real Estate Promo as well tends to show up in the search engines. So if somebody was interested in that and say, okay, all right, yeah, I want more information on this property. So now it went right to that property lead on this individual's website. So now if they wanted to request to see the property, they fill out the form, and now it takes them right to the buyer's form. They hit submit, and then this investor would get an email notification, plus the lead's going to be saved in the TREIA website. So you can always log back into the TREIA and then go to my website and then my seller leads, or in this case, it would be a buyer's lead. All right, any questions on that? And then I want to show you guys some of the upgraded premium features. If anyone has any other questions on that, I don't know if you guys want to.
Let me see what we got, Mike. Someone asked, do you have any statistics? Henry Bourne asked, do you have any statistics on how many people are using their websites?
Statistics on how many that are using them. No, actually, I don't have any statistics. I'd have to go, I mean, I could go look at them. I could go look them up because we track them in Google Analytics, but I don't actually know what that would be.
Henry Bourne also said it would be a cool idea if on your member directory you could put a link to your like LinkedIn or Facebook. Is anything like that ever possible?
Let's see, in the members directory.
Or in your somewhere, yeah, I don't know where. Somewhere.
Yeah, because there's the members directory. That's not something that we've ever thought about. So yes, we could definitely do that.
Kind of a cool idea. Carol Small asked, are realtor members allowed to list properties on the property list?
Of course. That's why we've got when you're building the site, that's why it's important here. And I made this notice to edit this. And then if you're a real estate agent, just put yes. And then make sure you put in the pertinent information it's going to ask you. Are you a realtor? And what's your broker's name, and what state or states are you licensed in? And then the system will build all the required disclosures and the fair housing and all that stuff that you need on there as a realtor. I'm just making myself a note about that.
I have one more question. Carol Small, I also had a question about the TREIA website introduction. Okay, she said she'll do that later. Never mind. You can go ahead, Mike.
Okay. All right. So then the other thing that many people have seen is, and a lot of your members actually already have it, is the property analyzer tools. This is part of the whole premium website property analyzer tools upgrade. So everybody gets the free website, and that's available for members. But then there's the property analyzer tools, which we've developed, and it's comes along with an upgraded website. So for example, this is the version of the free websites. And I'll just show you real quickly my premium site. So this is a premium site. And now this is here where you can create all of your own content. We have about 20 different themes to choose from. So there's a lot of flexibility and creativity. You can create all your own content, change up whatever content you want to use, your own images, your own videos. It's very, very user-friendly, and it's very customizable and very flexible as what you can do with the premium sites. Plus, it still has all the functionality of the automation that come with the free sites. You just get a ton more to be able to do with it. Like, you can create your own reports. Like I'm working on right now, I just created myself a new special report on mortgage forbearances, where I'm explaining what the mortgage forbearances is, talking about the new CARES Act and how all of that plays out, So now that's the one I'm going to be using for my personal site. So with the mortgage forbearances. So I just created that one and uploaded that one this weekend here. With the premium sites, you'll have that flexibility to do that. But the biggest thing and the coolest thing is the tools that are available with the premium sites. And the first is the repair estimator. So now when I go into a property, well, right now I'm not activated here. Let me go into mine through TREIA. Right, so I'm going to go into my dashboard here, TREIA. Now here I have the premium sites active here with the repair estimates. And then when I'm going to work on look at a property, all I have to do is put in the property address, and then it'll, like I could put in one from scratch. I'll just put in rentals. So Maplewood. Right, so the system went and just quick checked some public records, found a little bit of details on it. I'm gonna put in the rest of the info. Even checked Zillow to see what his estimate was. Irrelevant. It's just doing a quick search. It found it. So, and Zillow is a nice feature for accessing some more of the details about the properties. Now from here, all I gotta do is hit some check boxes and enter some quantity. Like if I drive up to the house, does it need a roof? Yes. Okay. Maybe I gotta replace some windows. So maybe there's 13 windows to replace. Maybe I want to paint the exterior and replace the driveway, and it's a medium-sized driveway. All right, so I just hit some check boxes and enter some quantities. I hit update, and it's giving me a budget of $25,000 just for the exterior. Garage, I would do the same thing. Maybe replace the garage door. And then interior, same thing. Always going to paint a property. I'm almost always going to do new floors. Hardwood floors get refinished, tile, replace the carpeting. This is like a blended number. And I got training videos that I'll walk you through. So in the how-to videos, if you go back to my account, and then there's a how-to video section that'll walk you through all this stuff. I'm going to give you a quick overview. You can go back in and watch all those how-to videos to more detail. But just an average type of a property that I'm going to be looking at, I might run something like that. And I hit update, runs my numbers. Then it ties it all together. And so in this case, it comes up with $72,000, $72,515. So there's my repair numbers. Now, one cool thing is if you're, like say you guys are in North Carolina, but maybe you're going to spend a month down in Texas for whatever reason. Maybe you're working down there part-time or any other state. You can change, so our system is going to be using our default values, but the system can also run them based on that specific state's averages. So if you don't know those numbers to work with, there's a button here that says use the state averages. So I'm going to show you real quick because it's recognizing that the property's in Minnesota because I got that built in the address. If you put it for Texas, it's going to recognize it as Texas or California or Oregon or wherever you're going to be looking at properties. It'll say use that state average, and then I rerun it. And so my state average for Minnesota is $60,000 for this property. But if I go back to my values, it's 72 because I do a higher grade rehab than most of the investors here in Minnesota do. All right. So that's my numbers are coming at $72,000. The state averages are going to change it. Right. But here's our default values. So it's getting those numbers by coming in and you set in your own values. Right now it's showing you right next to what the state averages are. The system does not use the state average. It uses your personal numbers from these text boxes. So you just go in there, set up all your averages. And then when you run these numbers and you hit update, oops, let me refresh that. And then update. Okay. Oh, I don't know what I just did. I hit back button and it didn't reload the exact same property. That's all right though. Reloaded the same. Oh, I know what I did because I was doing a demo earlier using my rental property. I forgot to delete it. So I just pulled that same one up again. Okay. So anyways, and now that's why when I did that difference, there we go. I think when I did that, it probably did the update on me. Maybe not. Okay, didn't do it this time. All right, so back to my values. And then you'll see there's a button here that says print scope of work. Just by hitting those check boxes and those quantities, pulling up that link there will build a scope of work for you. So when you're submitting your leads or your offers to your sellers, I always include the scope of work with this so that I can show the sellers why I plan my offer is where it is. Because in this case, I plan on doing $51,000 worth of work. Right? And now I can share this with the seller and explain it to them. This is a huge negotiating tool as an investor with sellers, because most of the time the sellers are thinking one price in their mind, and we're coming in at a totally different price way up here. And I've even had sellers walk away from properties and just give me the deed when they were trying to get $20,000 out of my pocket, and just say, okay, I agree with your numbers now, because they were thinking it needs $10,000, and I come along and say, no, I need $30,000 or $40,000 worth of work, and you go through the scope of work with them, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, I guess it's the same thing. And what I've also found is when I do this, if you just throw out a number at a seller, they get angry with you for just throwing out a number. Like, my house doesn't need $40,000 worth of work, it only needs 5 or 10. So rather than just throwing out a number and you share this with them, they don't get upset with you, and they're like, yes, okay, I agree. I didn't realize it was going to cost that much to replace a roof, for example. Right? So it's an easier way to negotiate with the sellers when you use a scope of work like this. Okay, so then the next thing we have within the system is, if we go back to the property details and you put in your comp. So if you just went and found some comps from the MLS, like say if I just put in 225 and I hit update, it's going to do my mail calculation for me, my maximum allowable offer. It'll do that calculation for me. Now, if you had comps, you would put in the different comps that you have. And if you click on this link down here, get comps from Zillow. And I don't have a lot of time to go through and explain this, but I do some training videos on how to use this. This is a developer's feed that we have access through to Zillow, where it's pulling up solds that it is coming from the MLS. So these properties were on the MLS. The MLS listed them, posted through the Zillow. So Zillow captures that information. We then are able to use that. And Zillow, now to give you guys a little bit of background about Zillow and it's Zillow's estimate, why you can't rely on it. The reason why you can't rely on it, well, this is the data it's using for Zillow's estimate. It is literally taking the average of all of these properties, right? So that's how it's coming up with its average. It's taking all those properties that have sold, and these are legitimate sold. So any one of these, you can go and look them up on the MLS, and you will find that that property at that address did sell for $290 on June 23rd. Right now, what it's not telling you is whether seller contributions and that kind of stuff. So we don't get that all that detail. But then what our system does is we take that information and we say, okay, like in this case, this rental property is a 5.3, but there's only one other 5.3 in here. There's a 6.2, but there's one other 5.3. But the properties that, from a purely number standpoint, that are the closest to this one, location-wise and everything else, none of them are 5.3s. They're 4.2s and a 3.2. Right? So our system is doing the exact same thing as an appraiser would do, and saying, okay, we'll do a cost adjustment for the differences. And so our system is coming in and saying, all right, this property has an appraiser would probably give it a value of $300,000. It's not an exact science. It's just a generic rough number, but just generic enough from years and years and years and years of experience that works with a lot of lenders. In fact, we just had a hard money lender do one of our meetings here 2 months ago, and he shared exactly with all of our members the breakdown and why the lenders and what the appraisers do that and how the lenders look at these properties, because it's very rare, unless you're working in all new, brand new subdivisions, to have all your comps be the exact same properties that are identical in every aspect. So it's very rare. But what I do then is you just go and click on that link, it'll take you into Zillow, and then you can look at if there's pictures, great. So sometimes we get pictures, most of the time we don't get pictures. Like here, I got lucky in this one here, we have pictures. So now I can literally scroll through these pictures and see the quality of the property and say, is this comparable to my subject property, the one that I'm going to be renovating? And say, yes, this is the quality that I intend to bring the property up to. So therefore, it is a comp. It's a true comp. So I'm going to leave it checked. And maybe I'll go to the next one. And we'll see if we have any pictures. Okay, this one we don't have any pictures. So, and this is typical. We don't have the pictures. Now I want to read through descriptions. And I find that if it's been renovated and it's in really nice shape, we got a good description. And so I'll read this. Okay, so this is giving me just generic information. This has not been a renovated property. So I can see the picture from the house here. I can go look at Google Maps on it, maybe get a street view of it. But I can tell from experience, and you will start to pick up on this. And the videos, how-to videos and all that, will walk you through how to do that. But I can tell this one here is not a true comp. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to uncheck it. So I get to select the ones that I want to use. And then from there, it's building out my ARV by taking the averages of the ones that I've selected, not the average of all these properties. Okay, and then the other thing you want to do is you want to look at them on a map. And so like these blue ones are the ones that I got pinned. The yellow, the green one here, this was that one that was suggested, but I decided that it wasn't a true comp. But now let's say I had it selected up here, because if you can either select them up here or you can select them down here on the map. Like I could even select this one if I wanted to. And each time I select, you'll notice that my ARV is adjusting. So if you watch this, when I hit that button, every time I select it, it recalculates the ARV, right? Well, you pick the ones you want and you come back in and say, okay, great. Now I got my ARV and it's pulling out the properties that I selected. So I can always go back and look at it. Then we've got a seller net sheet. And I really don't have time to go through this thing with you, but the seller net sheet we developed as a negotiating tool with the sellers, because if they have equity, this is the biggest struggle most investors have, is if they have equity, how do we negotiate with the seller? Like our offer's coming in here and they're thinking up here with their price. So how do we get that difference in that gap? You know, and I can go over example after example after example, but probably a generic, an easy one for people to understand is maybe your ARV or your male came in at 150, but in the seller's mind, they wanted 225, right? So you're off by $75,000. Well, how do you deal with that spread, right? Do you just make your $150,000 cash offer and be done with it? Which is what most investors do, by the way. Most investors say, okay, my cash offer is $150,000. I know the seller's asking 125, and the property's probably worth 275 because it needs, let's say, it needs $50,000 worth of work. Most investors just make that lowball offer and leave it at that. Well, that's not how the smart investors or the professional investors make their offers. They talk to the sellers and negotiate with them and get them down. So I developed this net sheet as a way to gather information from the sellers. And I worked with this with the seller. So sometimes I do it with them live while we're sitting at their house. But most of the time what I do is we can send them a link to this page, this information, so that the seller and I can be sitting in two different separate locations, both looking at this information. One of us putting the information in, the other updating the content, and then the other one refreshing it so they can see it. And the bottom line is we're trying to get down to the seller's net. And I want to get that seller's net down to as low as possible. But when we're working through this with the seller and they're putting in the information like their taxes, maybe $3,400, and their insurance and their utilities and the mortgage information, and they start putting all this information in there, like one I just had the other day, $21,000 to reinstate the mortgage. Literally that was, and that has, so I just walked away from a deal this weekend because I knew there was a forbearance on it, but it turns out that they were in foreclosure before COVID hit. So they got an automatic forbearance on that, and they're non-owner occupied. So the lender, I was hoping that the lender was going to let the forbearance slide to the back, but the lender said no because they were in foreclosure prior to COVID, and it's non-owner occupied. We're not giving them an extension. They don't qualify for an extension. And they owe the back payments plus the September 1st payment on September 1st. Or we've already got, because the foreclosure process had already been started, it just got put on pause. So they're going to be able to fast track the foreclosure on this one. I end up walking away from it. But we go do all that and update this. Well, in this case, the seller's got say $170,000 because it's a free and clear property. Well, how do you make an offer on that? So if we're at like 150 and we're trying to make an offer and it's 175 or whatever. This is where we have the offer generator wizard. It'll look at 8 different ways of buying the property. And then it'll pick the top 2 or 3 options that we can then submit to the seller in a form of a letter of intent. So in this example, it came up 147, which is our male. And then it also came up with a 160 seller carryback with a down payment and a 5-year balloon. Or it came up with a 172, which is our, if you remember back from the previous screen on that seller net sheet, that was our equity. So that was the seller's equity if they went and did it the traditional way. So we're offering them a full price offer with $1,000 a month payment and paid till paid. When you put this all together in the form of a letter of intent, it's going to, and then I email this off to the seller. This is how we really soften the blow with the offers and get our cash offers accepted, is because we've put all this together in our letter of intent, and so the system will generate a PDF for you. Our letter of intent shows 147, but we're also giving them a reasonable full price offer, and we let them think about it and we give them options so they can see the higher price offer, but then they'd have to take terms. So they tend to think about it. And most of my deals that when we get these are all in the follow-up. So maybe a week later, 3 weeks later, a month later, or as much as 4 or 5 months later. In fact, we just had a couple of our members just COVID, they gave up on these deals, but because they use this, the sellers are holding on to the letter of intent. COVID hits, and now it's like 6 or 7 months later after they stopped their follow-up because they gave up on the deals. The sellers call them back up and say, is that offer still available? Or is that still valid? And they're like, well, I don't know. Let me rerun the numbers. And they rerun the numbers and they resubmit the offer. And so 2 of our members just got deals in the cash offer category because they'll come back and say, yep, okay, I want the cash. I really wanted this higher price, but I'll take the cash offer. So that's how we get most of our cash offers accepted, by giving them multiple options. And occasionally they will take your higher price offer. In reality, I want them to take my higher price offer. Right. So you guys probably have some questions on that as well. If you want to get signed up on it, all you got to do is come back into my dashboard. Down the bottom, just activate the property analyzer tools, and it's $29.95 per month is all it is. So it's $29.95 a month, and that's today's price. There's no setup fee. During COVID now we're waiving the setup fee, and we're keeping the price at $29.95 because we were going to be increasing the price. And which we will be increasing the price after COVID for the property analyzer tools and the premium websites. But because of COVID right now, we're keeping the price at the $29.95, and then we're waiving the setup fee for you guys. When you sign up now, as long as you sign up before we increase the price, we will never increase your price. So when you sign up at the $29.95, you'll be locked in at $29.95 forever. We'll never increase that on you. So unless you cancel and then resubscribe. So you're locked in at that price forever. When we increase the price after COVID, you'll still be at that $29.95. Okay, I know I covered a ton. Hopefully I got some important things covered for everyone. Now, any other questions?
That is awesome, Mike. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and stick them in the chat real quick. Otherwise, we'll let Mike go. Man, that was fantastic. I didn't know half of those benefits. That makes things so turnkey. That's amazing. Great
Yeah, that's why we've been building and modifying and improving these tools and these features for the members. And with COVID here, these things have become more and more important. Like right now, a lot of our members are virtually buying properties because of these tools. So sellers are literally sending them pictures and videos of the houses. And then all you gotta do is sit there with the video on one screen or split screen them. But you can have it like split screen. You have the video playing here and the repair estimator on the next screen. Go back to my repair estimator. So you can have the repair estimator here, and as they're looking at the pictures or going through the video that the seller sent them, they're just hitting the check boxes and the quantities. And then they're coming up with the repair budgets on the properties. And then the seller net sheet, the beauty of that thing is you can email them a link. Oh, what's the email address? Let me just put in.
I mean, it's so turnkey. It's just amazing.
So it'll send them a link and it'll drive them to this page. And then they have to just all they have to do is put in their email address. And now they're looking at the seller net sheet on your personal site, not the RIA's. Because here I'm logged into my account here at MinRIA. You would be in yours at TREIA. So the seller would not have access to this seller net sheet. So what we did is we have the same seller net sheet, just skinned it out with your personal website. And so now they're looking at it on their personal website. You're looking at it on TREIA, and you're both going through looking at the same information. So you're completely remote. I mean, this is just completely automated, all this
Yeah,
stuff.
you can do it from anywhere. That's so cool.
Yeah, then you get right down to creating the letter of intent. And now you can just email that letter of intent. Where'd that go? You can email that letter of intent to them, and they can make up their mind. And now with e-signing documents, I don't think you ever have to step a house ever again.
It's totally dummy proof. You could do it anywhere. You could buy that house in Florida. Guys, remember what Mike said. He was, had limited time to go through a whole lot of features. On the website, you will find very detailed video instructions to all of this. So go in and take your time and learn more about it. Mike, we don't have any more questions except for James Clark says he just tried to go update and add his picture. He tried on his phone and his laptop. After tapping edit, it did not allow me to edit. Maybe it was user error. I told him to keep trying and just let us know if it didn't work, and we'll let you know.
Okay. So he already put the property in?
No, he's just trying to put a picture in his profile.
In his profile?
Yeah, we're back to basics.
All right. Yeah, is he doing it on an iPhone or on a
he said he tried his phone and his laptop.
And the laptop, and he had a problem on the laptop too.
I just told him to keep trying and let us know if he didn't, and we'll let you know if there's a problem. Oh, he said it worked. He just did it. Sandra Thompson asked, does this analyzer only cover properties in North Carolina? Can I use it? Yeah, I think he said it covers all the states, right, Mike?
Yes. Yeah, the only thing
Remember he showed you how you could switch the state to get the different numbers that it has the actual estimates by state, he said.
Well, I would still recommend using your own numbers, but the state thing is that, like, if you're traveling, or if you are remote, and that's something I haven't even thought about, you can use that feature just because you're remote.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm sitting here and buy that house in Florida, I don't know the numbers there. That's a handy feature. It gives you the averages. That's super.
Yeah, we didn't build it because of COVID. We built it because of people just traveling. Like here in Minnesota, we have a lot of snowbirds, so and a lot of us will spend 2-3 months every year down in Florida or Texas or Arizona, but we do most of our business here in Minnesota. But while we're down in Florida for a couple months in the winter as snowbirds, we might want to go look at some houses, and you don't know the numbers down there.
Yeah. Mike, thank you so much. I know how busy you are. Thank you for taking time out to be with us tonight. I hope that everyone enjoyed this as much as I did. And man, I think that we really need to get the word out about these premium websites. This is awesome stuff. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks everybody for being here with us tonight.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
And thanks to everybody for being here. Yeah, and just in closing, we'll be here next month on the second Wednesday. And just remember also that, as Kathy said, Mike covered a lot of information. So this call will be available as a recording. I'm not sure exactly when, but shortly. Not like this evening, but
yeah, within a couple of days, maybe this evening. Sometimes I get it done same day.
yeah. So anyway, so that way you can go back and review and look at some of those features. And if you're not already sold on the premium website, I think when you look at all those features, you very well might be. So yeah, good stuff. Thank you so much.
James Clark already just upgraded, Mike. So yay.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Stay safe.
Tell Ben check his downloads, because I also forgot to mention, when you do sign up, you get a starter kit, which will walk you through all the details. But you also get 2 bonuses. You get a subject to audio and an advanced wholesaling audio.
Cool. Thank you, Mike.
Sweet. Thanks, everyone.